Hey Adventure Kids, it is so great to see you, and this is our final episode, and I'm really glad that I get to share it with you. How you doing with everything, Pascal?
Well, Pastor Steve, I'm feeling sad because this is the last time that we'll see the kids.
Oh, Pascal, I totally understand how you feel. Saying goodbye is always hard, but that reminds me of today's Bible point. Open your eyes and ears to Jesus. And that's what our Bible story is all about.
Oh, and you know how I love a good Bible story, even more than I love swimming in a pool full of warm cheese.
That's great, Pascal. Today we're learning about how Jesus opened the eyes of his disciples so that they could see him for who he really was. Sometimes when we're feeling sad, it can be difficult for us to see the good things that are around us. But we can always ask Jesus to help us see things in a new way. And when we do, he can help us find joy in the midst of sadness.
That doesn't really make any sense, Pastor Steve. Finding joy in the middle of sadness?
Well, let's jump into today's Bible story and see how that helps. The Bible Adventures of Jesus includes a story about the road to Emmaus, and it goes like this. On Easter Day, after Jesus had risen, 2 disciples of Jesus were walking to a village called Emmaus, which is about 7 miles from Jerusalem. So many things had happened that they didn't quite understand. They were talking about all of it when suddenly someone else started walking with them. Can you guess who it was? It was Jesus. Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. But you know what? They didn't even recognize that he was Jesus. Jesus asked them, "What are you talking about?" They stopped and their faces looked very sad. "Are you the only one who doesn't know what's happened?" one of them asked. "What happened?" Jesus asked. They explained to Jesus, "It's about Jesus of Nazareth. He was sentenced to death and crucified. Today is the 3rd day since he died." Now remember, they didn't know that it was Jesus himself they were talking to. "Some women went to the tomb early this morning, but his body wasn't in the tomb," they said. They were getting closer to the village of Emmaus. They asked Jesus to stay with them because it was starting to get dark outside, so he stayed with them. Jesus sat with them at their table. He took some bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Then an amazing thing happened. It's like their eyes were opened and they recognized who he was. They recognized that he was Jesus. And then another amazing thing happened. Jesus disappeared. He just disappeared. Can you imagine the mixed feelings they must have been having as this was happening? One minute, he's there, and the next, he's gone. And then, it's like a light bulb went off in their heads. Everything Jesus had been talking about with them as they were walking now made sense. They shared how it felt like their hearts were on fire when he was walking and talking with them. They were so excited. They had to let the others know. They got up and returned at once to Jerusalem. They found the other disciples and told them, "It's true! The Lord has risen and has appeared to us." They told the others everything that had happened and how they recognized Jesus when he broke the bread. Jesus opened their eyes so they could see him for who he really was. He can also open our eyes so we can see him for who he really is. Now is a great time to talk with God through prayer. Dear God, open our eyes so we can see Jesus, and open our ears and help us to listen to him. Amen. And that's our story. Well, Pascal, today we learned about how Jesus opened the eyes of his disciples so they could see him for who he really was.
Yeah, I was feeling sad before, but then I remembered what you said about Jesus helping us see things in a new way. If we don't keep our eyes on Jesus, even in the sad times, we can miss the great big adventure that God has right in front of us. Just like the disciples, they were so lost in their sadness that they almost missed seen Jesus, who was right in front of them.
That's right, Pascal, and that's our Bible point for today. Open our eyes and ears to Jesus. And do you know what else Jesus can help us see?
What's that, Pastor Steve?
He can help us see how much we love the kids and how much they love us. And even though we're saying goodbye, we'll always have the memories of the great times that we have together, and we can cherish those.
You're right, Pastor Steve. I'm gonna miss the kids so much, but I know I'll always have the memories of the adventures that we had together.
Me too, Pascal. And who knows? Maybe sometime in the future we'll get to see them again.
I hope so. Thanks for your help, Pastor Steve.
Anytime, Pascal. That's what friends are for. And to all of our adventure kids, never forget, God has an amazing adventure for you.
Hey Adventure Kids, this is a part of the show where you send in your questions to me, Jake, and I answer them. However, this is my final episode of Takeaway with Jake. I've graduated high school and I'm moving on to new adventures. But before I go, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for being a part of my life. You Adventure Kids have meant so much to me all over the years. I've loved getting to know each and every one of you and hearing all of your questions and stories. We've laughed together and we've grown together, and you have asked some truly awesome questions. As I move on to new things, I want all of you to know that I believe God has an amazing adventure for each and every one of you. You are all so special and have so much potential. Keep growing in your faith and never forget how much each and every one of you are loved by God. I'll never forget all the fun we had together. Thanks for being a part of my life. Take care, Adventure Kids. Keep being awesome and keep asking awesome questions. And God bless you all, and let's take a look back at some of the fun we had. So remember, if you have a question for me, Jake, just go to the website takeawaywithjake.com and I'll be happy to answer your question right here on the show.